Greetings, I'm Shaun Pruitt, Zacks equity strategist, and today I'm going to be discussing whether GM is the best automaker to invest in right now. So General Motors stock has often caught the attention of value investors, trading at relatively suppressed levels despite its robust financial metrics. And what has held GM shares back, you might ask, is the perception that the historic automaker won't be able to sustain its dominance in an increasingly competitive and innovative market. That said, GM has continued to invest in electric vehicles and autonomous driving through its subsidiary Cruise, which is lifting sentiment in regard to its long-term potential. And in fact, many analysts have become bullish on GM, reflecting growing confidence in the auto giant strategy and financial performance. And to that point, GM is posting record EV sales. And adding to the notion that GM may be one of the best automakers to invest in at the moment is that it can sustain its dominance, is that it's currently the second leading EV seller in the U.S. behind Tesla. And edging forward and solidifying its number two spot, GM reported yesterday that it sold 66,501 EVs in the U.S. during Q3, more than doubling its EV sales from the prior year quarter and marking its highest quarterly EV sales ever. So year to date, GM's EV sales have surged 105% from 2024 to over 144,000 units sold. And this has been led by its Equinox EV with over 25,000 units sold, making it the best non-selling Tesla EV in the U.S. And so furthermore, GM's luxury Cadillac EVs have also been in high demand, with it noteworthy that the eye-catching surge during Q3 was partly driven by a rush into purchase EVs before the expiration of the $7,500 federal tax credit for EV owners on September 30th that just passed. So notably, GM stated that total U.S. vehicle sales were up 8% for Q3 from Q3 2024 rather. And so tracking GM's outlook. So following a multi-year peak for annual sales, GM's top line is expected to contract 4% in fiscal 2025 and is projected to dip another 2% in fiscal year 26 to 175.47 billion. So on the bottom line, GM's EPS is expected to descend from multi-year highs of $10.60 in fiscal year 24 to $9.44 per share this year. That said, fiscal year 26 EPS is projected to stabilize and rebound 2% to $9.66. And here you can see those multi-year peaks in revenue last year. So moving on to GM's cheap valuation. So at around $60 a share, GM stock trades at just 6 times forward earnings. And this offers a distinct discount to its Zacks automotive domestic industry average of 13 times and even Ford's 10 times forward earnings multiple, which you can see here. And Tesla is at a very stretched 267 times as far as its forward earnings multiple. And in terms of price to sales, GM trades at only 0.3 times, which is roughly on par with Ford and slightly beneath the industry average of 0.7 times, with Tesla at a high premium of 15 times. And most intriguing is the analyst upgrades. So despite the anticipated contraction to its top and bottom lines, analysts have become bullish on GM stock, with the company now forecasting a smaller decline in vehicle pricing in the U.S. of 1 to 1.5% compared to previous forecasts of 2 to 2.5%. So quieting concerns of marketing costs and lower margin EV production, analysts at JP Morgan recently raised their price target for GM shares to over $80 from a previous price tag of $60, maintaining an overweight rating on future performance. And more intriguing, a slew of other notable firms have raised their targets for GM stock to over $70 as well, including analysts at Barclays, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and UBS. And GM stock has risen over 5% in the last month and is now up a respectable 15% year to date. And it's blown past its average Zacks price target of $59.19 a share, which you can see here. So the bottom line, as far as valuation is concerned, GM's certainly making the case for being the best domestic automaker to invest in, even ahead of Ford. And while market sentiment may still favor Tesla's long-term growth potential, GM is the domestic leader in total auto sales and has become more attractive after re-solidifying its number 2 spot in EV sales. Again, I'm Shaun Pruitt, Zacks equity strategist. I hope you enjoyed this content. For more, please feel free to visit Zacks.com/promo.